Hello, everyone. This is Caron. Thank you guys for joining me. I seem a little crooked here. Hold on one second, y'all. How's that? Is that a little bit better? Or is it just me? Oops. All right. I hope you guys are awesome. You guys, thank you so much for bearing with me, putting up with me. And I went over and I now just figured out how to do this. And so I am excited to go live with you on Facebook via Zoom. So let's get started. Let me go check one more thing just to make sure that the sound and the audio and everything is good. Okay, so active speaker. Anyway, you guys, this is the second Taste the Catty that we're doing, and I am excited. I hope you guys were able to, if you have the suite or the collection, that you were able to join me in stamping tonight. Let me go through a little bit of admin details first, and then we can get started with the card. So anyway, if you, oh, of course it cuts off. So if you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, the Spooky Treats is the theme for next month. And you must subscribe by 10th of September in order to get this this kit. Now, this subscription. Of course, this, as you can see, it's Halloween focused and Halloween themed. So if that's your kick, go ahead and make sure to subscribe by the 10th of September. The other really awesome thing today, guys, and you should see this post in the group, is today was the first day for the weekly deals. You guys, every week from the 1st to the 28th of September, Stampin' Up! Is going to release a set of discounted products, limited time discounts on some products that you guys can sweep in and get them. They'll be the set will be available for 1 week. So you'll see here, this one, what's posted now will be changed to on the 8th of September. So take a look and see what's being offered. That Splendid Day foil paper, that's on sale. I believe it's $12. Originally I think it's $15, so I think it's going for $15. So if that's the paper that you love, you guys go right ahead and make sure you check out the weekly deals. All righty, what else is going to go? We'll cover some other admin things at the end. So as I told you before, today we are going to work on, we're casing the Catty, and we are going to work on the Rustic Harvest suite. Okay, this suite in its entirety is $104.50, and it's comprised of the stamp set. Let me turn the page so you can see. It consists of the stamp set and die bundle, this embossing kit, the basic black 12x12, the leaf label and amber gem combo pack, and of course this gorgeous excuse me, designer series paper. You guys, this is absolutely gorgeous paper. So what we're going to try to do tonight, what I'm going to try to do tonight is to this card and this card are the cards that I plan on making with y'all tonight. So let's just jump right in. The first card we're going to make is this one right here. I'm trying to see. Okay, so the pieces and parts that you're going to need to create this card are, you're going to need a piece of Mary Merlot basic cardstock A2 that is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. So your standard base card base. You're going to need a piece of designer series paper. This is absolutely gorgeous. You're going to need a piece of basic white that's going to be on the inside. You're going to need a piece of ribbon. You're going to need a piece of ribbon, and that's it, I think. So we'll go ahead and we'll get started. Let me tell you what I'm seeing. So we're going to put this aside. And if you look closely at the image, you'll see that there's some embossing on here, okay? I didn't emboss like with an embossing folder, and it's with the painted, I think it's painted textures. I don't have that one, so I'm gonna create my own, I'm gonna create my own image. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat emboss the image on the back, so I'll have a little bit of texture. So what does that look like for me? So I did not share with you the stamp set. Well, here's the stamp set, and it's the Hello Harvest. And as you can see, this is all the parts and pieces that's in the Hello Harvest, okay? Look at the gorgeous dies. There are, I don't know what I did with my glasses. There are 11 dies in the set, as you can see. The banner, the pumpkin, the leaf, the accents, and more pumpkins, okay? So let's put that aside for now. And I'm gonna start with the leaf image, okay? And I'm gonna go in with the leaf, and what I'm gonna do, let me put the rest of this aside. Grab this, right? And all I'm gonna do is with my embossing buddy, I'm just gonna make sure I remove a lot of the oils from there. And I'm just gonna randomly stamp the floral image, the leaf image, okay? And again, I am looking at this, and I'm just not making it up as I go. It's just to show you that if you don't have something, you can still create the card. It's just gonna look a little bit different, but you'll have your inspiration. So I'm just gonna randomly stamp the image. And one way to do a random stamping, you guys, is to change the paper, or switch the paper. And one of the things because of where we're going to put the designer series paper, it's kind of most important that you get this on the outside. It doesn't really matter on the inside, because as you can see from the image, the designer series paper is going to the designer series paper is going to cover most of the inside. So it's just important to make sure that you get the outer edges stamped, okay? Make sure you go off of the cardstock as well. Okay, and so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with a little bit of clear embossing powder. And that's how we're going to create a little bit of texture, because I don't have the a couple of things. Here we go. All right. Now my embossing powder. I got the use of my drawer back, you guys. It's such a long story. Oh my goodness. But I'll tell you guys about my drawer. So I have this drawer right next to where I sit and I craft. And for whatever reason, something got stuck. Oh my goodness. And so all I'm going to do is I'm just going to spread the embossing powder. Oh, I got these spoons, these beautiful spoons. Can you see them on Amazon? And they're just for my embossing powders. That's the only reason I bought them. All right, so now we're gonna go right in with the tweezers from the embossing kit set. And we're just gonna make sure that we have embossing powder everywhere. Okay. Oh boy. Okay. And if you see that you need a little bit more powder, you go right back in and you add it. Okay. And then we're gonna go right in with the brush and brush off the excesses where we don't need it. Okay. Being very careful not to get our hands. I have these eyeliner brushes, eyeshadow brushes that I use to help me get into where I need to get into. I see I need a little bit more here. So again, I am adapting because I don't have the embossing folder that the project looks like it's using. And so I am making this part up as I go, making this my own card. Okay. All right, so now that we have that, we're gonna turn on the heat tool for just a second. Let me clear this up, put that aside. Has anybody joined me so far? If you've joined me, please say hello. I would love to see who's joining me today. And with the new kit from Stampin' Up, you go right ahead, you open this up, and then you're just gonna pour the powder right back into the container, okay? Like so. Did everybody have a good August? I did. The weekend of the 20th, 21st, my boss and the rest of our team, we ended up having a really nice one-day retreat. We went down to San Antonio and we stayed at the La Cantera resort. You guys, that resort is amazing. Okay. So I was totally psyched to be in San Antonio at that resort. We spent that day just, we spent the day at the pool, hanging out the pool, and had a nice dinner that night, and then breakfast that Sunday morning. That's what we did. And I'm just cleaning up my area, you guys, so that all the stuff from the powder isn't there. All right, so let's go ahead and go in with the heat tool. And we're gonna go ahead and emboss, finish the embossing on the front of our card. Can you see that changing? And that's how we can get this awesome tone on tone look. Add a little bit of texture to the card, even if you don't have an embossing folder. Perfect. All right, so now that we have this done, we are now going to go ahead and we're going to cut our cardstock. We're going to cut our cardstock. Okay. Now, I don't have any measurements precise, but I'm going to tell you what it looks like to me, and then we're going to go from there. So let me go ahead and burnish the folds on this just to make sure. There we go. There we go. This is burnished, right? And so if I look at the image, this looks like it's probably maybe a 3-inch piece. Maybe a 3-inch. So let's see what 3 inches look like. Now you can make this anything that you want. And here's the guide I'm going to use. If you can see, right, in the photo image, it incorporates this yellow, this orange flower right here. So I'm going to make sure that when I trim this, I kind of have the same. Oh, it looks like it's a 4-inch then. Nope, it's about a 3. Oh, let's see. No. Yeah, it is. It looks like it's 3 inches. So we're going to go with 3. No. That looks much better, that 3.5. I like 3 because I want it to be even. So I'm going to go with 3. I'm going to cut it at 3. Yeah, I'm going to cut it at 3. It's exactly half. And then it seems to me as there is maybe an 1/8 of an inch difference. Not that much. So this is 5.5. Right? And so we want to cut this 1/8 of an inch shorter than 5.5. So we're gonna go right about there. And if not, it's good. It's okay. All right, so you see, this is what we have thus far. And I'm going to now, if you can see in the image, there's a piece of ribbon that's right next to it, right onto it. It's not exact. So I'm going to trim this off just a bit. And then I'm not going to fray it. I like it just the way it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of, I think I cut a little too much, but that's okay. I'm going to put a little bit of tear and tape, or score tape rather, right on the card. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. I'm gonna have to reach for some water in just a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna just cut off a little piece of score tape. And I'm going to affix it to the designer series paper, like so. All right. And I just find it's easier to do it that way. You could have put it on the card, on the ribbon. It's just easier for me to do it this way. And so that's the way I'm doing it. But if you want to do it somewhere, some other way, have at it. It's your card. So you already have the score tape on the back. And so all you want to do is line it up and give it a good press and a good burnish. And we've got that part done. Okay. The next thing we are going to do, if you can see, it'll go here, just like so. I'm going to, I'm just going to add this with regular adhesive, liquid adhesive. Oops. All right. Somebody must be outside wandering because my dog has just woken up. And if there's a bird flying out there, they will let me know that, Mama, there's a bird out there somewhere. They let me know about all of that. So now I'm just going to position this where I want it to be, making sure, remembering that I left a little bit, maybe more, about 1/8 of an inch border on there. And so that'll be like that. And then the last thing we got to do with this card is we've got to, there's absolutely, did you see there was no stamping on this card? Okay. So the next thing, except for the embossing. And so next we're going to put a piece of cardstock. We need our sentiment. I don't like how that is right there. I'm gonna have to figure that part out, but I don't like that. Anyway, so the next thing we're gonna stamp the sentiment. If you can see from the image, it is the loveliest day sentiment. This one. And you know, I forgot to bring my cut and emboss over from, yeah, I forgot to bring that over, but I'll get it. It's not a problem, right? And so what I'm going to do, they have it stamped, it seems like, on a piece of designer series paper, it looks like. Let's see. Yeah. Excuse me. I told you I'm going to need water in a little bit. Excuse me. All right, so that's done. And so now let me grab some of the designer series paper and try to figure out which one it is. Oh, these are the images from the designer series paper. That's one. That's the other side. That's the other one. Okay. So, and then I'm trying to see, it seems like it's on this one. So we're going to cut just a little piece off of that one, maybe about a 2-inch piece, maybe. And the way I'm going to determine how much I'm going to cut, so I'm just going to put that on there. So that looks like we need about 3 inches. So I'm just going to cut it at 3 inches. All right. All right. because it'll fit like so. And I'm gonna stamp it first because I don't want to mess up like I just did anyway. Right? And so what I'm gonna go in with some black. Where my VersaFine is in black. So we're gonna do a little bit more heat embossing. Trying to find my black. How do you know that you don't have your things? Is you shoot a video and automatically whatever it is you're looking for, you will never be able to find. That's just the way life is, right? All right, so I'm gonna just go in with some black ink. Will not be heat embossing tonight. That anyway. And here we go. Make sure we got good ink coverage on this. And then we're gonna stamp right on the, excuse me. We're gonna stamp our sentiment right on here. Like so. Okay. Do a little surgery. Do a little surgery. Right. And then we're gonna go in with the die. I'm gonna die cut this. Make sure you line it up. So dang it. And I'm gonna go grab my Stamp and Cut emboss machine. Go ahead and die cut our sentiment. Okay, let's do that. This mini Stamp and Cut and emboss machine is perfect when you are working in minute space. Okay, it's excellent. Look at how easy that was, right? Fast, quick, and easy. Okay. Let's put this aside. You might need it again, so let's put it aside for now. And then get our sentiment dislodged from the die, like so. And then we know that this is going to go about here. And the thing about when you're doing casing, I mean, you can be exact if that's what you want, but you're really just using the image for inspiration. So I'm going to put a little bit of dimensionals on here. And then I'm going to pop this guy right up, and then our card pretty much will be finished, okay? At least this one. My dimensionals. Well, I have those things and then I moved them and then I don't know where the heck I put them. Yes. Anyway, here we go. These are the remnants from when I cut the adhesive sheets. Remember I told you when I cut them, I keep the rest. And so I'm gonna add that here like so. I'm gonna cut off another little piece like so. And then cut that in half. And put this here. Like so. And then put this here, like so. All right, so now that that's done, we are going to add our sentiment. And then this, and the inside panel of our card, of course. And then our card will be complete. There we go. There we go, that's done. Now I have to put these back immediately because I will lose them. And I just find that it's easier for me to put it right back as soon as I'm done. Otherwise, I will absolutely lose it. So to avoid that, I'm just going to put it away. Like so. All right. Now the last thing we're gonna do with this card seems a little messy. You guys, it just seems like it's missing some bling, but there is no bling on the card template, so I'm not gonna put any today. It may drive me nuts, and then I might anyway. And so I'm just gonna stamp the inside. There's that green. That green looks like either mossy meadow or always artichoke. One of the darker greens. It's definitely not evening evergreen, that's for sure. So is it old olive? No. I'm gonna go with mossy meadow. And all I'm gonna do is take this same floral image, stamp off. Oh, let's do it this way. Add a little embellishment to the inside. Stamp off. And then add a little embellishment to the inside. Done with that. And now we're done with that. So we're just going to put the inside panel in. And our first card is complete. Awesome. This is our first card. What do you think? I think it's pretty darn close. What do you think? side by side, I think we're pretty close to what the artist created in this in the samples, except for the embossing folder, but we made do and we came up with another plan. All right, you guys, card number 1 is done. Let's get on to card number 2. Now, the second card is a note card. And so it's not as, well, it's going to take a little bit longer because of what the design is, I think. But that's okay. We got nothing but time, right? All righty. All right, so the first thing I'm seeing on the card base is dots and dashes. All right, so like I told you before, this was created on the note card. So let me bring my note card in. And it's going to be in the horizontal landscape orientation. So if that makes a difference, and it might, I am now going to use, I need a smaller block only because that will definitely. All right, so the thing that I'm seeing here, and there's this little line image. I think that's what was used to create the lines, because I didn't see a designer series paper. So we're just gonna make do, and we're gonna create some dots and dashes and lines and just keep it moving. I think I'm gonna go with brown though. I don't want to do it in black. Sometimes black can be very harsh, and I don't want it to be harsh in this card. I'm gonna go with the brown. Okay. So, and then all I'm gonna do is just start diagonally, just doing some lines. Y'all, when I tell you guys that I can't do a straight line to save my life, I mean exactly that, okay? And again, with this one, you don't have to be perfect because the a piece of cardstock is going to go in the center. So it's just really important that you make sure you got the images on the outside or on the, oh, look at that. Okay. I'm just creating a mess here. I'm gonna have to figure that out. And now I'm really random stamping, okay? It's a mess. It looks messy, right? Well, we're gonna soften this a little bit, but before I do anything, I'm just gonna heat set this just a little bit. All righty. And now the last one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and with my blending brush, I'm going to grab some crushed curry and I'm going to kind of distress this a little. You know, when you go on a cleaning binge and you put your things away, and lightly just add a little texture to the card. Again, start as light, and then if you want it to be darker, then of course you can go back and add more. But it's best to start. You can always add ink. You cannot remove it. So that's how we're going to add a little color to that. The next thing we want to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to stamp the floral image because we've still got to color that. We've got a couple things we want to stamp out. We're going to go ahead and stamp the pumpkin. Let me just, oh, I got a piece right there already, so we don't need to cut that. And we're going to stamp our pumpkin image. I think it's this one. This is the one we're using. Yep. I'm going to set this aside for a little bit. I'm going to stamp our pumpkin. Like so. And we're going to heat emboss it. Okay. And now we're going to die cut it. It seems now all of the images in this in the die, they can be cut out with this mini stamp and cut and emboss machine. So there's really no need for you to bring out the big one or your big shot or anything like that. You can take care of die cutting this. All of the pieces in this die set with your mini stamp and cut and emboss machine. Again, just line this guy up. Put a little piece of tape on there. And the tape is really just to keep it from moving and shifting. I'm gonna bring back in my little stamp and cut and emboss machine. And then we're just gonna take care of die cutting and then get that part done. I got something else to die cut. I probably should have just cut it all at once, which I did not. Okay, this is done. Put that aside. Put this away. And then we're going to need to stamp one more item. It could work on that. It could work on that. Don't you think? I'm talking to myself. Actually, I'm talking to you guys, actually. It will fit perfectly on there, and so will the die. Okay, so here we go. It's just a little piece of scrap paper that I have, that I used. And that is about, if you're interested and curious, this is a 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 square. So that will fit on a 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 inch square. Okay. 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Okay. And as always, I'm gonna heat emboss it just to give myself some texture, because I love texture. Okay. And again, just dust off any excesses. Cover. And I also cover because if you get the heat too close to the unopened stuff, it'll melt it as well. So we don't want that. So just keep that in mind. Okay. And then we're going to color. Now I'm going to do a little quick coloring here, just because time. Let's see the image here. Where am I going with greens? Seems like the same mossy meadow-ish. Let's change that up a little bit. I'm going to go with these. I'm using the Stampin' Right markers. Just to add a little color. To the leaves. There's another leaf right there. And one right there. There's one sticking out right there. And then I want these to be kind of yellow. But I'm gonna go, when I say yellow, I'm gonna go with my pale papaya. And I'm just changing everything up just a tad. Here we go. Then I see, I'm gonna go in with a little bit of, I don't see it, but I'm gonna go with the fresh freesia. I'm gonna try to stay all in colors. And the fresh freesia I'm gonna put here. And then I'm gonna go in with the polished pink, which might be a little too bright, but hey, we're gonna go with it. I'm just gonna switch sides a little bit just because the space, the real estate that we're working with is not like huge, right? And I think that's it. Yeah. There we go. Then I want a little bit of a lighter shade. Is Flirty Flamingo light? I don't know. Let's see. Lighter. Yep, gonna go right back in with our fresh freesia. And that's all the coloring we are gonna do on this. All right, so that's one last thing we're gonna do. Not one last. We gotta die cut this puppy. One more set of die cutting. Let's grab our die cut. This guy right here. Line it up. Let's see how we can make this work here. There you go. That's how this goes, right like that. And what I just do with my tape. Use a tape right here to tape it in place. Bring the plates back in. And let's just get this cut. Alrighty. So we got that done. Got that done. Let's put this out of the way. And we need to stamp the sentiment now. And the sentiment is stamped on a piece of Cajun Craze, which we're going to do this one. And we used You Are Such a Blessing. And you guys are. You are such a blessing to me. I appreciate all of you that take the time out of your day to visit my page. Just to say hi when you do. I do appreciate it. Looking for my embossing ink. Try to line this up. Like so. And then we are going to heat emboss it in white. Okay. I hope I'm not coming down with anything. Oh my goodness, that's all that would be all I need. Set that down for a quick second. And then I'm just gonna try to do a little bit of maintenance while I let that set for just a quick second. By maintenance, I mean just to clean my stamps. Okay. And then let's just put them away because I think we're almost done with our card. Anyway, all right, so one last thing we're gonna do before we start to assemble. Missing something. There's this one. Oops, wrong way. All righty. Okay, so there is a piece of black cardstock, and that it seems to be, well, it's going to be whatever we want it to be. Right? So the piece of black cardstock is going to go like so. Because remember now, this is 5 inches, right? So let's cut this to about 4 3/4, maybe. Let's go 4 1/2. Let's go 4 1/2. We're just going to cut it to 4 1/2. Okay. And so we'll have this here. We're going to have this here. We're going to have this on top of there. And then we're going to have our sentiment right there. Okay. So before any of that, let's trim our sentiment. Oh, I know what I'm going to do with it too. Taking a little poetic license here. All right. Come on. Trim it a little bit on that side. And then trim it a little bit on that side. And before we put everything away, I'm going to go in with the very best occasions punch. I'm going to go with that side right there. Let's see. I want to punch off. Oops, that side. Just wanted to create just a little interest in my sentiment. Okay, so that's what we did. So now let's put everything together and then we'll call this card finished. So I didn't see anybody on the line with me tonight, so I could have a conversation with you, but that's okay. It is the middle. It is a work day. I get it. I get it. I get it. It's okay. Right? And this guy, we're just going to put him on like so. Like so. And I know this is going to go on dimensionals because this is going to go like so. And then this is going to go right like that. Okay. I want to pop this up. I think so. Let's pop this up. What the heck? You can't go wrong with a little dimension. Ever. Ever. I'm going to put you this way. Like so. Then I'm going to add some more dimensions on this side. Okay. Then we're going to put you right on here, like so. Sometimes fingernails are a blessing. Sometimes they're not. Okay. I'm going to add this over here like so. And then we're going to add this over there like so. Okay. I think I just saw. So that's what we'll have here. Okay. And we are just going to put this right like so. And you guys, except for some embellishment, our cards are done for tonight. We have successfully cased page 48 of the mini catalog, which features the Rustic Harvest suite. Where's the other one? Alrighty, there's card number 2, and this is a note card. And here's our first card. So these are the cards that we created tonight. Like I said, again, featuring the Rustic Harvest collection from the mini catalog. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. I promise sometimes to keep you for an hour. I'm 5 minutes over, but thank you for joining me tonight, and stay tuned. I will post what the next CAS catalog is for next week, what page, and if you have those products, please feel free to join me. I would love to have you stamp with me. You guys, from Sweet Signature Stamping, have a blessed evening, and see you guys tomorrow.